Oh, you know, see, Buster and I go way back.
Man, look,
I
it's
was
it's
here.
it's serious, some
I was
serious
here
way
when
back.
Buster got here. Okay, we were at the same church. We were at the
Yeah, we
same church. We grew up. I was a little bitty something, but I remember when he got here. You know, but I'm great. I'm
wow,
grateful that you
wow.
accept it. I really am.
Oh, no problem, no problem. I'm glad to be here, able to share with you guys tonight. I decided I was like out and about, and I decided to come down to the church. I'm like, let me come to the church and get this done. And so I didn't know it was gonna be a doggone storm outside. So I'm sorry
Exactly.
about that.
Exactly.
Yeah. So, but let me say this. This is so needed, and I appreciate you even taking this task upon yourself
Thank
to
you so
do
much.
something like this. Choir directors need this, and ministers of music need this, and
Exactly.
MDs need this,
Yes.
and pastors need this. And I wanted to talk about that tonight too, because you could have the choir director versus the minister of music, or the minister of music versus the music director, or the music director and the choir director and the minister of music versus the pastor. Those could be so many different elements that we could deal with tonight. But I'm gonna wait till you ask me questions, and then
No,
I'll
you can.
just go from there.
No, you can go on. Keep on talking. Right where you at. You good. You can keep talking. Right, Reverend Doctor Donald Buster Woods. You can keep. I don't know why Facebook is freezing. This is just not fair because he has so much information to share. Are you with me?
I do have, yeah, I'm with you. I do have some information to share. I do. Um, so do you want to ask some questions, or you want me to just go ahead and start talking? I mean, how you want me to do
Go ahead, and start talking. Go ahead, preacher.
this? Listen, first of all, again, let me thank Angela. I want to talk about how far back we go. Let's talk about that.
Oh my.
First of all, we grew up seeing some amazing musicians.
Yes.
So we were both Kojic babies, and we were able to see. I was able to see her mom in action,
Yeah.
who's an amazing musician and choir director and singer.
Thank
I
you.
was able to see Sister Ruby Ingram
Yes.
in action,
My
who is an
auntie.
amazing singer. Yep, singer, musician, and choir director and trainer. We were able to see Sister Joanne Ingram.
Yes.
Now
My
we
other
going back. I'm
auntie.
talking about this is old Unity Church of God in Christ.
Yes.
Way we going way back. We talking about all of her relatives. This is all in her
My
family now.
family.
And so yep. So we got a chance to see that in a lineage, even in Missionary Christmas, and how
Yeah.
she brought her children up in the music industry and church. And so um, I think it was just an amazing time for us to learn our craft and watch some people who
Exactly.
were just amazing when they were doing it. You know what I'm saying? And so
Exactly.
it allowed us to have a great foundation. I talk to my brother Marty all the time about the foundation of Unity Church of God in Christ, and how that helped us and molded us to be great musicians today. So kudos to those people who actually laid the foundation for us.
And wait a minute, we don't want to forget your mom, one of the most phenomenal
Oh yeah,
singers. Oh my
yeah,
goodness.
she's
I
one
used
of
to
my
love when they
she's one
call
of my
her.
favorite singers.
Everybody was like,
Yeah,
ooh.
I mean, yeah. She's had a
Oh my
powerhouse voice. You know,
God.
my mom. So it was that. It was, of course, it comes from, again, being a part of a family
Yeah,
that knows about music.
exactly.
I was talking also about my other brother Shelton, who worked with me singing,
Yes,
who
that's
passed away.
true.
You also had a brother who worked with you in music, who passed away as well.
Yes.
I ain't gonna call him by his regular name. I'll call him Charles.
Yeah, that's
Well,
that's him. That's
but
my brother.
to
Yeah.
have but to understand that you have family members that work along with you as well,
Yes.
that do this music, and it's just what we grew up doing. So
Exactly.
for us, it's almost like second nature.
Ex-
It wasn't hard for me at the age of 13 and 14 to be in front of adults training and teaching choirs. It was
Exactly.
not hard for me because I saw it
As a
at an
child.
early age myself.
Right.
Yeah, as a child, and so I had an opportunity to experience those things. One, I will tell you, one person who had a strong influence on me, Dr. Dorothy Bounds.
Okay.
She is an amazing director and trainer. She was a minister of music at Mars Hill Baptist Church, and
Okay.
she was my boss. Yeah, she was my boss for 21 years at Dorland Academy of
Oh
Music.
yeah.
So
Okay.
I was able to gain a lot of knowledge from her. Dr. Linda Morgan, who is an excellent choir trainer and voice trainer. She's over at Living Word. She actually does the music at Living Word. And so I've had great examples of choir trainers and choir directors. Then later on, having an opportunity to work with Mother Lavanya Whitley
At
was
Corinthian
just an
Temple.
amazing opportunity at Corinthian Temple. Yeah, and then soon after I started playing at Corinthian, she became the international minister of music,
That's
which put
right.
me on an international stage with the Church of God in Christ. So I was able to play in first jurisdiction, of course, in my local jurisdiction, but also in the national church, and was able to gain some recognition there
Yeah.
and play
Good
with
experience.
Lavanya. And then when I left, yeah, it was a great experience. And then being able to play with guys like that on that caliber, it was a great experience for
Eric
myself. And
Jackson.
then
Oh my
moving
goodness.
on then to progressive,
Hmm.
then leaving there and going to progressive with Apostle Donald Alford and Pastor DeAndre Patterson now. That was an amazing opportunity too, to work with another great recording choir. The good thing about it was I was working with recording choirs,
Exactly.
and it took you up a notch. Like
Yes.
if I thought I was good at 19, when I got to Corinthian, I was showed that you weren't that good, so you got some work to do. And so people like Brenda Joyce Moore and
Right.
William Kilgore and people like that, and Cynthia Nunn were able to impart
Yeah.
into me, and that was a great experience for me again. But being able to end up there at a progressive where they have such a rich lineage of music,
Yes. Very
that was
rich.
amazing in itself. And so, with Apostle Alfred and the Progressive Radio Choir, and then Pastor DeAndre at that time, then becoming the minister of music, me being able to send up to him. I've had so many great teachers and trainers and music mentors, and so with choir, when you deal with choir, it's very it can be funny. I remember the first choir that I worked with in high school was, hey, Sister Adeline, this is one of our elders.
Oh, hello.
The first choir I worked with in high school was Walter Lutheran High School, and
Now he's
got a
in
chance to train, direct,
yeah,
there in Melrose Park,
Melrose
yeah.
Park. Okay.
And then leaving there and going to Taft High School,
Okay.
working with them, working also in college at
That's a
Concordia
good one.
College,
Yeah.
Lake Forest College. It's just all. It's just been so many opportunities that God has opened up for me, and so almost everywhere I went, I was able to work in music ministry. So it was really really cool for that. So I'm really really excited about it. But I want to talk about keeping the choir relevant. Um,
I'm with you.
Dexter Walker, who is a friend of mine, has a thing called "Bring the Choir Back." That's like
Exactly.
has been his mantra for the last 3 years, and Dexter is very serious about that.
Yes, he is.
He wants to bring the choir back, and he should be because he's been a catalyst in this city and this country for pushing the agenda of the choir, and so for that I applaud him, and so he wants to bring the choir back. Well, uh, in the community setting, that's going to be hard to do. A couple of things: you have record labels and stuff that really don't want to sign choirs
Oh, okay.
because it's so difficult to move choirs around uh, versus moving around one artist and a couple of background singers in a band.
Oh,
If
okay.
you have a 50 voice, 60, 70 voice choir, um, record labels tend to shy away from that unless you're someone like a Dexter who just signed to Indie Blue. Um, Tend to shy away from that kind of thing. I have been blessed to have 3 or 4 albums. I don't even remember, but
Quite a few.
uh, and yeah, and I've been able to do them independently myself,
Okay.
and God blessed them on the independent side. But they really are looking for someone who they can just kind of move around, you know, in a more economical way.
Oh,
And so choirs on record labels right now are very scarce. If you look at all of your record labels, you'll find very few choirs, and that's because it's not as economical as it could be for a record label. You think about it. If I gotta go do promo stuff for free, and I have to move 50 people around, including a band and a choir director and maybe their manager, their business manager, their road manager, or whatever you have to do, it could be a bit rough. And so
That's true.
um, I think the choir is not as popular because of that, because of also the trend of CCM praise and worship music. That is now taking precedence in our churches. I was talking to Don Lawrence, and he mentioned the fact that we're the only people that don't embrace our own music. We
True.
are trying to change how we came up and what we have established and started. Like that stuff that we used to do at Unity, that
Right.
stuff right there,
That's old.
it's some of our listen, but some of our counterparts, our white brothers and
Oh,
sisters all over. I've been to Europe, I've been to Italy, Norway, Sweden. I've been everywhere teaching and training and singing gospel music. They want that sound, and it's
exactly.
kind of unbelievable because you like we kind of done with that, but they're not because they're
They're
trying
not.
to get the essence of what it really is. If you think about it, we were singing from a place that you had to be, you had to know God, and so when you were singing from a place like that, these people can feel that because what's in the heart is going to come out, and so
Exactly.
I think it's important that you understand that that came out of a lot of pain, a lot
Hmm.
of suffering, a lot of praying, fasting. Hey, choirs used to go on fast and
Shut-ins.
long shut-ins. Choirs used to have shut-ins and
Shut-in.
stuff
You know,
like that. And
Unity,
so
we did.
look, we had to have them shut-ins. Wake up at 6 o'clock in the morning
Exactly.
and they what that song they used to sing at 6 a.m. And I used to be
Exactly.
like, not now. It's too early. But
Right.
this is how we grew up, and so
Yep.
they can't experience that from a spiritual aspect. So what they do is try to mimic it and imitate it, and it can be a little difficult to do. But they love it because they can feel that it's real, and so we might not be embracing it. We're trying to move into a more um, easy type of way of worship, thinking that that is the way. But I'm going to say this: I embrace that. I am not afraid of that. Hey, Phil, how you doing,
Hey,
man?
Phil.
Elder Perquette, it's
Marilyn,
Elder
good to
Perquette.
see you.
People, yeah. And so you'll find that I embrace that type of music because I understand about our millennials, and I understand about our the direction our churches are going in. So we have to embrace that. But what I tend to do, and if you check out any of our concerts at our church, we're singing music that has probably been recorded in the 90s, in the 80s,
In the 80s.
um, 2000s, maybe that's a huge maybe. But we're doing a lot of Hawkins music. We're doing a lot of Tommy's music. We're doing a lot of
Exactly.
James Hall, a lot of Donald Lawrence, a lot of Hezekiah Walker, because those are the songs when people were writing songs like "Let the Glory of the Lord." Those songs
Bless
are
your holy name.
amazing. You start talking about songs like "Over and Over," He keeps on blessing
Oh,
me.
bless me. That's
When
my
you start
favorite.
talking about those type, yeah, that's like one of our favorite Tommy
Oh, that's
songs.
my favorite.
When you think about songs like "Safe in His Arms" and Darius Brooks and Percy Beatty, who are music mentors and good friends of mine, amazing writers. Were writing from a place. Those
Mhm.
guys weren't rich. Those guys, when they were writing those songs, they were like 16 and 17
Wow.
years old, writing songs like that. And so, Reverend Brunson, who is right around the church, is right around the corner from where I am right now.
Okay.
He embraced those young boys at the time and let them, exercise those gifts. And I think
Exercise the gifts.
us as a generation now, we have to do the same thing. Um, there's going to be some people who want to hear that type of music, and
Exactly.
there are some people that they want to come to church and feel something. I was talking to a friend of mine, Juan Teague, and she was talking about like why we don't have like real gospel music anymore, and why is everything so? I want to cry. She was like, I want you to sing something that's gonna make me cry
Right.
and something that's gonna make me, realize, that he didn't bring me this far to
To
leave me.
leave
You know what I'm
me.
saying? Stuff like that. Yeah, little stuff like that that kind of just will pierce your spirit and your heart. and will allow you to kind of stretch out and not necessarily just be, all wavy and all.
Wavy, right.
Again, I have nothing wrong with it, but the way that the things that people are going through right now, it's not just that's going to get you through. A hymn will get you through.
Exactly. Exactly. I was thinking.
What were you about to say?
I was thinking that we should have like a healthy mix of it, of the
Absolutely,
of the
it should be.
CCM, of the praise and worship, of the traditional, of the hymns. We should have a healthy mix. I personally,
that's true.
every Sunday, I try to mix it all up, a little old school, a little new, because you have a mixed congregation. So, but you want the young people to be able to recognize the hymns. A lot of young people don't know the hymns these days. And they really, they kind
of. You don't have to tell me. Listen, I teach private lessons. I teach private piano and organ. And they go like, hey, man, my pastor sang this song the other day. I never heard it before. And I'm going, okay, what's the name of it? They'll say something like, Near the Cross. I'm like, what? I'm like, you don't know that? Like, so, but Angela, let me tell you what they have at their disposal. Okay. That is YouTube. That is something that they can go to. Back then, I didn't have that. I had a music teacher, Dennis Smith. He's still a good friend of mine and still my mentor and teacher right today. An amazing musician, played for Andy Spivey for over 25 years.
Wow.
And was my music teacher. And he taught me those songs. And he was like, he used to get on me because I used to be so busy, all over the place.
All over the place.
He would be like, hey, now play God Has Smiled on Me. I'm like, but I wanted to play shout music. I wanted to play The Victory Is Mine, God is a good God. That was what I wanted to play. He's like, well, no, you got to learn some hymns too. So there was the healthy balance for me. I thank God that I had that balance growing up, even in Lutheran schools, being able to learn hymns in Lutheran schools.
Yes.
Also being able to learn hymns from him as well. And then also learning to be able to, beyond just that, I was able to learn it in church at Unity. Elder Gordon used to sing songs. You were like, what? So what I did was, in my mind as a child, I just learned them because I felt like that's what we were supposed to do. And so, absolutely. And so, what I wound up doing was learning to appreciate that at a young age. And so I was able to incorporate that, and it allowed me to be able to play at any kind of church. That was another thing. I was able to play at a Baptist church. I was able to play at a Church of God in Christ. I was able to play at a Methodist church. I was able to play. So when you're able to do those things and kind of, Elder Bercy, hey, when you're able to do those things and stretch out a little bit. Yeah, we at church, Corey. Hey, Monique. When you're able to do those things, that's my praise and worship leader. That's my choir business manager who's online right now, too. So thank you guys for tuning in.
Thank you so much.
I wanted to make sure that I was able to fit in any arena that I was able to be a part of. So that was important for me. But getting back to the choir, making sure that choir music stays relevant in church, I think that's very, very important. It's very few choir records out now. Even if you count in the last 10 years, you're going to find very few choir albums. So again, my pastor is kind of old school, so he'll teach the stuff from the 70s. And he's an excellent choir master.
He's a choir master. I tell him every time I see him, you are a choir master.
He really is. DeAndre Patterson knows how to train a choir, teach a choir, and work a choir. And so I have had the pleasure of sitting up under him and learning how to do that. And so he'll teach the 70s, 80s stuff. I'll do like the 90s stuff. And because that's what I grew up on, late 80s and 90s stuff. And so we have, like you said, a healthy mix in our congregation of that type of music, the CCM stuff, the Tasha Cobb, the William Murphy stuff. We'll go back and get some Ron Canoli. And so we'll do what we have to do, some Juanita Bynum. We'll do what we have to do to make sure that the church is edified. Let me tell you what happened. My pastor will even sense he likes to sense the temperature in the church, and he'll go, I don't think it was enough traditional music sang today. So he'll get up and sing a hymn. And so we've done all this other good stuff, and he'll look and see, he'll be like, there is somebody's that's not moving, and it might be that motherboard. So he'll say, "Let me do a little hymn or something." So he
For
might
the
do
mothers.
something for the mothers, and when he does it for the mothers, it catches on to the entire
Yeah,
sanctuary because it's for everyone. You
exactly.
cannot take hymns and good music like that and congregational music and think it's not going to touch you. Corey, thank you for that kind word, man. I appreciate that.
Oh, he
Um,
is. Definitely. He
but
is.
that is one thing that I believe as a choir director you have to take into consideration. And so when you start talking about clinics and workshops and things of that nature, you start talking about choir decorum,
Oh, come
and
on, come on, come on.
people say, well, what people say, well, what is decorum? And so it's basically how you look, how you
Yes,
carry yourself, and how you posture yourself as a choir. So of course, the main thing that every choir fall out about is uniform.
yes. But it's
So
necessary.
we it's very sometimes it could be a headache. Every single I don't care what concert I prepare for with my choir, somebody's gonna say something like, "Why we gotta wear that?" or
Exactly.
"For real?" or it's gonna be something.
Something.
And so this last concert that we just did, I think you attended that
Yes, I
concert at
did. I was
Progressive.
there.
We yeah, we did those pink and gray robes. Well, if you think about it, somebody will go, "Well, pink and gray," but all together it looks great. When you put it on in your living room, of course it's gonna look a mess
Yes.
because it's supposed to look a mess by itself. But when you put it, that's what a uniform is. Uniform. You're together as one, looking the right way,
Preach.
and it
Yes.
looks amazing when it all comes together.
Yes.
The problem is people want it's so much individuality.
Yes.
If I say we're going to do khaki bottoms and navy blue tops, somebody gonna come in with a navy blue bottom and a khaki top
Preach.
because they want to
Yes.
be individual. You can't do that. You cannot do that. And again, thank God for my millennials. I praise God for them. Those 20 somethings,
Right.
and some millennials are on the cusp at 30 something.
Yes, they are.
But I thank God for them because they're still coming to church.
Right.
They're still coming to church, but they want to try that extra little something. Well, I just want to add my. Well, that's a
No.
problem because when it comes to decorum, everybody has to be looking the same. And so that's a
Exactly.
real big problem. So we're working on that even within our church because we want the young people to feel like they're being stylish a little bit, or and I thank God because we have a young man in our church who makes uniforms. And actually we
Oh,
have
that's
two people
awesome.
that makes uniforms and robes and stuff like that. So we're able to kind of incorporate some of their stuff into what we did. Larry McDaniels, who just passed, made those robes that you saw
Oh,
the
really?
other
Those are
night. That was
really
one of the
nice.
last robes that he made for Destiny. Yeah,
Those are
yeah. So
nice.
Larry's House of Style, Larry's House of Style has been making robes for many years for people, but that was one of the last robes he made for us. And so some people was like, we gotta wear them robes. Yeah, because I want you all to look uniform. I don't want you to try anything on me that night. I want it to look like a choir.
And it
You
looks
know how
really nice.
sometimes if you try something like, let's try turquoise tops and a black bottom, it ain't gonna work. So
No, it's not.
something's gonna happen, and it's not gonna turn out right. So you want to just kind of curb all of that, and if you do that with a choir robe. So decorum is very important. Your posture in the choir. Now here we are with the age of cell phones and tablets, and
Yes.
so we catch people in the choir, and taking selfies because uh, they just think they look good in their uniform in the choir stand, and
In the middle of a song.
everybody's now Facebook in the middle of a
Oh,
song. Now people are Facebook living of their services or streaming live, and then that doesn't look good on camera.
no, it
And so
doesn't.
now we have to talk about the decorum. We had to add in decorum. We have to add having the screens on
Mhm.
during worship, and so that's another thing that we have to move forward toward. Um, Another thing that I think people are missing is um your posture. People's posture, even walking to the choir stand. When we walk to the choir stand, well, first you remember at Unity, they used to line up on that wall over
Yep.
there.
Over in the room.
and on that side by
On
the
that side,
radiators,
come out
and
the
they'll
door.
walk up to that stage and walk up on that choir stand, and they were singing that whatever they were
Whatever
singing,
they were saying with them
sign
burgundy
me up or
robes
whatever
on.
it was. Yeah, Burgundy and White Rose. Whatever they were singing, they sang it, but their posture showed that they were ready to serve.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Their posture showed that they were ready to get up here and
And
give God some praise. They wouldn't just get up there like, okay, like whatever, like we just, no, like this is a task for them. And so before, when we were younger, it wasn't a task. We were happy
we were
about it.
excited.
So my pastor says this all the time: church has changed.
Yes.
It's not the same church. It's not the same. It's not the same. And so where we were rushing to get back to a 9 p.m. broadcast at Progressive, people not rushing back to a 9 p.m. broadcast now. They're like, they're like, they're like, man, do we get out at 9? I mean, it's real crazy right now. And so you have to kind of try to meet people where they are.
Exactly.
So decorum is a very important part. I had one more thing I want to talk about, and that was discipline.
Oh,
Um,
yes.
so at my with my church, we have a very strong praise team and a very strong choir. So we have to try to even out the time for choir rehearsal and praise team rehearsal. Well, we came up with a genius idea to have praise team 2 times a month and choir 2 times a month, which should give people a break. What it does, though, it puts double time on our praise team because our praise team members are part of the choir. But you still want to respect people's time, and I think with discipline, it makes things a lot easier, because what you'll do is you'll tell people, hey, listen, if you're here on time, we can actually finish early
Yes, we
and get out of
can.
here. I'm going to tell you the truth. I don't like long rehearsals.
Me
I
either.
remember because I sat in long rehearsals till
Please.
11 o'clock with Lavanya Willie,
12
11:30,
midnight.
12 midnight. Yeah, Lavanya Willie upset with me and mad because I ain't playing the right chords or they not singing the right notes. And so when I vowed that when I became a minister of music of a church, and now I'm the minister of music of destiny going on 14 years now, I
Oh,
vowed that
wow.
I would not be that person. And so that's a problem because Pastor Patterson is kind of still that person.
Oh,
And
no.
so by us working together like a Batman and Robin,
Robin.
it kind of sometimes, he want to run rehearsal kind of long, and I'm going like, can we,
Can
I
we
promised them 10:30 tonight. Yeah, and so but it's only because we want to get the best out of them, and that's where the discipline piece comes in. If we're disciplined in our rehearsals and we come in and we're prepared, we can get a lot accomplished, and I think it'll be a great situation.
Oh,
Um, so for uniforms, I would say for choir directors and stuff, be flexible. Let your people try some new stuff, and if you have somebody that you can connect with that can make some comfortable, a little more, up to date kind of uniforms, get with those people and tell your choir, hey, look, I'm looking out for you. I'm hearing you. You don't want to be so traditional. You don't want to be so staunch choir roll with the big bell sleeves. Okay, so let's try some new things. Let's try some the same top that's made from a seamstress or a tailor, and then we'll just wear black bottoms or gray bottoms, whatever it's going
exactly.
to be, and we can pull off something like that.
Right.
Be flexible, and I think that's the problem that some choir directors, we have a hard time being flexible. We like, I want what I want, and
Cut
that's it.
dry.
Right? And I say that a lot of times. I go like, and I'm not gonna talk about it. And I'll sit up there. I'm actually sitting on the organ right now, and so this is where I teach from. I'm looking at the space. I teach my choir sitting there. The choir stand is back here. We rehearse down here, and then when we're tightening up and polishing the music, we come to the choir stand. But usually I say it from right here. I'm like, this is what we're doing, and we're not gonna talk about it. And
Right.
so, sometimes that works and sometimes it
Sometimes it
doesn't.
don't.
Because they still want to discuss, well, so should we have a patent leather shoe? Is it toe in or toe
Oh,
out? Is it and you like, oh my God,
nah,
it's always
really.
something. So yeah. So that ties into the discipline. You need to know that there are going to be some uniforms that you have to have, some
Right.
must-have uniforms. You have to have a patent leather shoe as a choral singer.
Right.
That's just what you need to have. You need to
At
have
least
a
one pair.
concert. you need a concert length skirt
Yes,
as
you
a
do.
female. You have to have that as a that just should be in your wardrobe. You know you got to have black and white, and you should have every kind of black and white. I have one of my choir directors, Joyce. I don't know if Joyce is on here, but Joyce, she says if I run into a white blouse at the store and it's nice, I just get it because I know
That's
I'm gonna need it probably next first Sunday, or you know what I'm saying?
exactly.
Because we know that black and white
It's always
always comes
appropriate.
in. And at our church, our first Sundays when we're not in white robes, we're in black
Black
and
and
white.
white.
It's traditional black and white, and so that's just an understanding that we have. And so when you have those understandings, people like her say, hey, they think about it. Here's the
Hmm.
discipline. It pops in even in the store.
Hmm.
They say, man, let me just get this white blouse. I don't even know when I'm going to wear it. And she
Hmm.
says she's had opportunities to wear it at different times. So I think it's really, really important that we let people be flexible and work with them
Hmm.
with these uniforms. That will also help, again, our millennials because we don't want to appeal to just the 40, 50, and 60-year-old choir member. We want
Exactly.
the 30s and under. We really do, and we want to do music. And so when you do good music, they really can appreciate it because they know that it has some power connected to it. So I
Exactly.
think that's a good thing. Um, integrity, I think that's important. Um, when you say you're gonna do something, you gotta do it.
Do it. Do it.
Um, I am a school teacher, and so I know I'm not dressed like it today because I've been rehearsing my eighth graders. I rehearsed them for 7 hours straight
Oh
today.
wow.
And so my boss allowed me to come dressed down to work today. So I just took my ID off and kept it rolling today. But when you when you say you're gonna do something as a teacher, um, well, say for instance, I'm gonna call your mom if you act up one more time. Well, if you don't call their mom if they act up,
Yeah.
they're gonna be like, oh man, they playing, and I ain't taking them serious. That's just the way it'll run. Um, But if you call the mom, like you said,
Hmm.
they're gonna straighten up and fly right. Same thing with the choir. Hey, listen, um, we're not gonna allow you to sing if you miss more than two rehearsals
Right.
back to
Hmm.
back. It's just what it
It's just what
is.
it is.
If you haven't taken a leave of absence, and you're gone for 3 and 4 months, we have to do something about that. If you
Hmm.
um, are missing more rehearsals than you're attending, we have to do something about that.
Hmm.
Um, integrity is going to be an important thing for people to relate to a choir director as well. So I think, and so it's a slippery slope when you just. I know we're about to wrap up, but it's a slippery slope when you start talking about a choir director versus the minister of music versus the music director versus the choir president. Let's add that,
Yep.
and then let's add the pastor.
Each one
So
of those
many
people is
layers.
different. Each one of them are
Yeah,
different.
yeah. So many layers. Yeah, so many layers. And so with my church, because my pastor is a recording artist, I do also have a choir business manager
Okay.
who handles, and that's Cornell Bursey. He's online now, who handles all the business of the choir. So even with tickets and booking artists, and
That's
if
awesome.
they have to book us, and if they want us just by ourselves, how much does that cost? If they want us and Pastor Patterson, how much does that cost? There are times when, of course, we give our services for free because that's just what we do, depending on what type of event it is.
Hmm.
Sometimes we do paybacks where, hey, you come to us, we'll come back
We
to
come
you.
back to you.
And then you have that business manager who makes those decisions, but they consult the minister of music and sometimes the pastor as well to make sure we're making the right decision. So I'm over all of the fine arts in our church, and so with dance, mime, um, praise team, choir,
Hmm.
when you have those things, and then children's church who have their own little children's ministry across the street, when you have that, um, that's a lot of
It
responsibility.
is.
And so you need to be able to delegate. And sometimes people don't know how to stay in their lane. Let me leave it like
Nope.
that. My
True.
first lady, Patricia Patterson, says all the time, stay in your lane so you won't have an accident.
Exactly.
And that's just the bottom line. If you stay, if you stay in your lane,
You
do
won't.
your job, and it's done correctly, um, I think that's one thing that we're missing in our church, and so everybody wants to be somebody,
That's a problem.
and the problem is this is the only place that they get respect.
And they
And so I don't want to really
right.
get into this, but that's
It's
really what
really
it is.
what it is.
When they get home, they're no. When they get home, they're
They're on
nobody.
the job.
When they get to work, they're
Mm-hmm.
nobody. Uh, when they go to
Hey,
the mall, they're nobody.
true.
But when they come to
They
church,
somebody.
they the president of the usher board. You, hey, hey,
Hey,
I'm the president of the, and this is no knock on my president of the usher board, but I'm the president. You gonna respect, you know what I'm saying? I'm the president of the usher board,
right.
you know. And so, they kind of take it a little
Beyond.
too serious, and that's where the integrity comes in.
Mhm.
We have to be able to curb your enthusiasms and,
Real.
and learn yeah, and learn how to calm some of that down, because people in church nowadays really not even looking for all that. They just want to just come for worship,
That's all.
get what they got to get, and go to the house.
Be blessed and go
You
home.
know, but our job as choir directors and musicians, our job is to prepare the way for the pastor, so that the word will be easy to come forth, and so that people will be blessed by what's about to happen. See, that's another thing. We're missing our assignment. Our assignment is to prepare for what's to come. When I do workshops and seminars and clinics, I always say it's only two people in the church that wear robes and garments. That's the pastor and the choir.
Mm-hmm.
So, as a Levitical singer, do you know that you have an amazing assignment?
You do.
Um, with those only two people in the church that are wearing these sacred garments, you know that you have an assignment.
Exactly.
And so, with that comes responsibility. With that comes discipline. With that comes uh, integrity. With that comes all of these things that we have been talking about. So, I just think, as a choir director, it's a lot.
He
You
said a
said, "Do I hear
workshop.
a West Side
Hey,
workshop?"
talk to him,
Yeah,
Cornell.
yeah. It sounds like it. It sounds like it, man. It sounds like a Directors Academy workshop. I think we need to try to pull it. Corey is an excellent clinician as well and a songwriter,
Okay.
as well. So I'm going to connect you with Corey too.
All right.
His name is Cornell, but we call him Corey.
Okay.
But when you have people like, and he's got his friends, Malcolm Williams, they came up in college together, out down in Western. The choir, Lonnie Hunter, when
Right.
he was training. These are some people that we were able to watch and see. As a matter of fact, Lonnie has a new single out. If y'all don't have Lonnie's new single, it's Days of Elijah. That's out. You still have people like Ludella Evans Reed, who's
Yes.
still directing.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
And so she still keeps up the same fervor as she did 50 years ago,
Wow.
where she wants the choir to look a certain way. She wants them to
Sound a
sound a
certain
certain
way.
way. You know what I'm saying? And so when you have that, and what fellowship brought, and then now what Reverend Jenkins is trying to do, to keep that alive. You know what I'm saying? He's the other day he just dropped another single as well. That's good church music.
Mm-hmm.
So we're not gonna get rid of the church. We're not gonna get rid of church music. It is what grounded us. It is what trained us. It is what brought us to where we are today in our in the kingdom. It also taught us so much, because some of the words of those songs right now, Daniel Witherspoon, another friend of mine, posted something the other day. He said this guy walked up to him, and he's a producer, and the guy would say, "Man, I wrote this song, man. It goes like this:
Oh
Ooh,
no.
ah, Lord, you are," And then he was like, "Okay, what's the rest of it?" He's like, "That's it, man." And he was going like,
Really?
"Hey, that's all you got?" Because of how we came, of what we came from. And so when you are used to great music,
Right.
Daniel comes from Daniel started playing at True Holiness with Janet Harris Sutton.
Oh,
And
okay.
so when you come from a director
Right,
like
like
her,
that. Yes.
with
She's a
music like
phenomenal.
that, and that
Yes,
she's
she's
doing like
phenomenal.
over at Acme, those type of people, you going like, man, I've heard way better, and so it's rough to do that kind of thing. But again, like I said, we're going to always embrace the choir. We're going to always actually the name of the concert that it was supposed to be the name of it was supposed to be called "The Church Choir is Back." So that's what was supposed to be the name of that concert on this past Sunday, because the church choir, we need to revive it.
Yes, yes, we
And
do.
I think a lot of people are trying to get away from it. And churches are trying to shine the choir, and the praise team is shining, and they got their own microphones. And
Hmm.
if it ain't the praise team, it ain't nothing. And
Right,
we have to be careful with that kind of stuff. And so we're going to continue to embrace it. We're going to do what we can to make sure that we keep the legacy of the church choir alive. And so, as a choir director, or whatever you want to call me, minister of music, I just believe that we need to make sure that we continue to keep the legacy of the church choir going. So that's important for me, and keep it relevant.
right.
We can keep it relevant. We can do it. So that's about all I have. I mean, I got more,
Wow,
but I
that's
could
all
talk
you
to,
got.
I could talk, I could talk until,
Woo. We've
you
been,
have any questions? Do you have any questions?
anybody have any questions? We have so many people. We have Kimberly, Janine Sanders from St. Louis. That's my cousin. Mother Charlie
Okay,
Harris,
good.
Corey, your
Okay,
friend. Marilyn, soon to
yeah.
be my friend. Marilyn Neal, my
Okay,
classmate. Phil, my
good.
classmate. Oh my goodness. Lewis Lyon
Okay, good.
was on it. She said we must learn to walk in humility, love, and service with discernment. That's true.
That's
Um,
true. That's
Kimberly
true.
said
Yeah,
we decency and order is missing. Yeah, that's true as well. And then
it
we had
is.
Shirley Williams watching. Um, Lady Bridget Plater, she is in the IND department. I think she's executive over the hospitality. She's also a regional president in
Okay,
Texas,
good.
Texas
Good.
Northeast.
Good to know.
Um,
Wow. Well, we got some people. We got some dignitaries online tonight.
yes, and she's just my big sister. Annette
Wow.
Nunez, she has a show. She's on. Darlene Williams, oh my goodness. Adeline Hampton. Um, Hugh
Yeah.
White says old school will tear the church up always. Good worship from old school. That's true.
Yeah. It
You
does.
would always tear up a church.
Yeah.
Um, there
Yeah.
was one question that came to my inbox, and it was saying that the
Okay.
person was saying that I'm interested in doing a recording. Is there a specific
Okay.
area of focus, i.e., vocals, musicians, song selection, the producer? Is there something that I should focus on more than others? I personally think it's
No, all of the
that's
above.
what I'm thinking. Yeah, I'm thinking
Well,
everything needs to
so
be.
the first thing, yeah. The first thing is, sometimes what you'll realize is that the your producer is the person who is actually presenting or producing to the world what you're trying to say.
Okay.
And so if you hook up with the wrong producer
Hmm.
that does not have an understanding of where you're trying to go and what you're trying to put together, you're doomed already. So the producer that you choose to work with is very important. Song selection, extremely important. That's why it's good to have a good producer that knows songwriters. Or if you are a songwriter yourself,
Hmm.
a producer that can either arrange, which I do as well. You know what I'm saying? You got to be able to
Hmm.
arrange. You have to be able to, hey, you know what? This is a good song. Let's take this middle part out. Let's put this over here. And I've had to do that for writers. And, I don't ask for no royalties. No, I'm just telling them what's best for their song. You know what I'm saying?
Hmm.
So I think you have to be careful with that. You have to make sure that the songs make sense. You have to make sure the musicians are top notch. If you have a good producer, he will choose excellent musicians. I've been in situations, it's particularly in church choir situations,
Hmm.
where church choirs have decided to record. Well, they have a every Sunday unit that plays every Sunday.
Hmm.
So, me as a producer, I'm coming in going like, well, I use my guys, and so what's gonna happen with that? I remember I was playing for Angie Spivey with First Corinthian, and Sanchez Harley came in from Nashville to produce her album. She was signed to a record label, and they brought in a whole nother band. They only kept one of the original members. So I understood it at the time because I knew, I was like, hey, I was young too. I think I was like 17, 18 years old. I was just glad to be around those guys, actually. But the players that had been playing there for some years took a bit of offense to it.
Right.
And so, you just have to deal with it. You got to deal with that. And so when I do records, I try to give the band members an opportunity to prove themselves.
Okay.
And I say, hey, man, I'm going to give y'all 2 songs. Y'all nail them. Y'all rehearse them. Get them down pat. And if you're meeting the same standard as my other guys, we're going to keep you on.
Oh, that's
if
great.
You're not meeting those standards, then we're going to have to, of course, move on to more professional guys.
Right.
I've been blessed to be able to work with some really, really good musicians over the years. And so it's not hard for me to just pick up the phone and get somebody to cut a record for me. And so, I think it's important to have those relationships with people that'll help out a lot. So yes, music is important. The producer is important. Song selection is important. Background singers. Here's another thing. Sometimes the background singers are not cutting it for it to be a commercially viable record.
Okay.
And then we have to bring in some other singers to kind of pad that music and make sure those vocals are nice and tight. That's nothing you should get offended by. Because it happens all the time. They just bring in some musicians and singers to just tighten up what's there. And so, that's a great question. If they're interested in recording, I know a lot of producers in Chicago. I produce too, and this is not necessarily just for me. Whoever, I got great producers. Curtis Lindsay is a great producer.
Yes,
Percy Beatty is a great producer. I can name them all. Percy Gray. Yes. If you want to record, I will let them know. I will point them in the right direction. And give them whatever resources I do have.
Oh, that's awesome. That is awesome. It's always good to know the right people. So if you don't know what to do, they can point you in the right direction. That is awesome.
Absolutely.
That is awesome. You know what? I am so honored and grateful that we were finally able to connect through Facebook. You have given
oh my God, I'm so glad
information. I'm glad that I can go back and rewind the video because you said so much, and I'm just sitting here nodding.
Yeah, I was thinking to myself, I'm like, man, I'm not letting her talk enough.
No,
I'm like, I'm not letting her talk enough. Maybe I should not talk and let her.
You're fine. You know why? Because next week I have to talk.
Okay.
So.
Okay, good.
So glad that you're here, and everybody's saying good info. That's my cousin Janine. Yes. From St. Louis.
Good. Thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you. Listen, however I can be of help. Also, if you want some more choir directors that I'm connected to, please. Again, you are certainly welcome to use all resources that I have. Like I said, I have plenty of people that have tons and tons of information. I was not able to even tip the iceberg of everything that really God has given me to give to the body of Christ when it comes to music.
Right.
But this little bit, I appreciate whatever I've been able to impart. And so this has been great. Angela, this is great. I'm so proud of you.
Thank you.
I remember I was at How Sweet the Sound, and I was looking on the stage like,
oh no, not
is that Angie? And I was like, this girl is up there killing these people directing this choir. And I was like, well, she got it honest because, like I started with before, your family, it's where we come from.
That's where we come from.
Corey, probably still in his he called it the unity prayer gates. You better leave my church alone. But I really do appreciate what we learned at a very young age from those people like Sister Ruby and your mom,
and,
Sister Joanne. Just a lot of information that we learned at an early age, and it wasn't all technical.
No,
it was just sit there and watch it, and you're going to get an impartation.
Yes,
and that was the thing about it. It was an impartation.
Exactly.
It wasn't. They didn't teach us a class.
No, they didn't.
It was a spiritual impartation because we were serious about what we were doing.
Exactly.
And so, thank you again for having me. I really appreciate this opportunity. And again, if you need me for anything, just let me know, and I'll put on a button-up shirt next time.
Don't no,
You
no.
don't look so
Casual is
tight.
fine. I'm just glad that you accepted. You accepted, and we were able
Yeah,
to connect and get this on. Everyone is saying that they enjoyed it. Kimberly, Marilyn, Phil, Arnold, Adeline,
good,
everybody's hitting
good,
hearts and likes and love. So you did an awesome job.
good.
I'm so appreciative for
Thank
what
you.
you did, and we're gonna connect down the road. And when you do this workshop,
Great.
Corey was talking about Labor Day weekend. Oh, Mother Charlie
Yeah,
Harris.
you see that there's the business manager coming out in him because he's a business manager, and so that's what he does. I'm gonna share this video when it's over with
Okay.
because I want people to know what you're doing, and
I
so
appreciate it.
we need to get those likes up. We need to get the likes up on the Acquired Directors Academy as well. We want to get those likes up,
Thank
up,
you.
up,
Thank
up.
you,
We want to get
Buster.
them up.
Thank you.
People need to hear this information, so
Yes, yes, yes. And
it's
I
gonna
thank
be great.
everybody.
All right, thank you so much.
Thank you everybody for tuning in. And we're gonna end this. I am so appreciative for everybody, my friend Elder Donald Buster Woods, and everybody that joined in. I appreciate you. Like, share, YouTube, subscribe, so that you can view this as well. Anytime we have something, we're going to continue on this road, bringing in great people like Donald Buster Woods to come in and talk. You won't hear me all the time, and you will hear them because they have great experience in the industry, as myself. But I like to hear. I'm learning myself. I'm learning. I learned a
We
lot
all
today.
learning. We're all learning. Listen, if you ever get to the point where you think you know too much, then you
There
know
you go.
nothing. So, you are so right. This is great. I'm glad people are saying great show and stuff like that. So I'm glad you guys got something out of what happened tonight.
All right,
Thank you so much.
but we will be in touch, and you all stay tuned next week for the next session of the Choir Directors Academy. Be blessed. Love everybody. Thank you so much, Donald Buster Woods. Everybody, I love you, and
No
peace.
problem.